Hello everyone, this is part 15 of What If Naruto Was Iron Man, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Tenten woke with a screen shaking as she checked herself over and looked around and thought, what a nightmare. She heard a voice say, that was no nightmare, that was reality of what originally happened, making Tenten wide-eyed, and she grabbed a kunai looking around. Tenten asked in a scared voice, who's there? The hologram of her mom appeared again and she heard the voice in her head said, you know who I really am now. Think what you want to say. I can hear you. Tenten was shocked and thought, Eva, is that you? Eva said still in her head, yes. Tenten thought, why can I hear you and how do you hear me? And what was those things I dreamed? Eva said, look at your ears in the mirror. Tenten got up and looked at her ears and at first she thought it was her normal earrings, but she narrowed her eyes and Eva said, having experienced already with Naruto how to send electrical signals to the human brain to display things and to talk to him, I used those earrings as a receiver. As for your dreams, they weren't dreams, they were video recordings of what really happened. You died. Tenten thought, how? I don't understand. Why are you showing me this? Eva sighed and said, after you died Naruto snapped. All the pain and suffering in his life finally broke him because you were the first woman he truly loved and you were the first he ever let truly see the person he hid from the rest of the world. You saw memories of what I am talking about. Watching you die like that, he died inside as well. He used to walk around with a smile on his face, even if he was hurting on the inside, because when people saw him smile they felt like smiling themselves, making them feel better. He had a confidence around him that would make others want to be better than they were and gain belief in themselves and him. When you died, that changed. He's truly afraid of getting close to anyone again because he is afraid that they will die like you did. He has distanced himself from his precious people so they won't get close. He's created an attitude that makes it seem like he is angry or hates because he's scared. He pushing himself to the extremes, and only Tsunami and Leela have been able to see who he really is behind his act because they understand the pain he's going through and they have started to heal the wound his heart has, but you are the only one who can truly repair the damage done to him if you chose to. I have your mom's memories since she was one of my creators, so a part of me is your mother. That part of me wants to see you happy, and I know Naruto wants to see you happy as well and let you make your own decision. Your dad is the only other person who knows about him coming back in time accidentally since he recognized his own work. I want to show you what happened and why that act you saw earlier today was really about, and I will let you decide what to do. I won't force you to choose to be with Naruto, but I thought you deserved the truth. As she disappeared and Tenten's eyes fluttered as more videos displayed in her mind. When it was over, Tenten sat there shaking and thought, Daddy, you are so dead. An hour later, Dustin was asleep in his bed when he was awoken by the sound of drawers and closets being opened. He opened his eyes and saw Tenten pulling his cloths out of the dresser drawers and he asked, what are you doing, dear? Tenten turned and said, oh, afternoon Daddy. How are you today? Dustin rubbed his eyes and said, a little tired but all right, what's up? Tenten said, I've been thinking about the engagement thing with Naruto and I decided to accept it, as she continued to put her dad's cloths in a box. Dustin said, really, that's great dear, but why? I thought you wanted to get to know him first, as he looked at her as she started on the next drawer. Tenten said, well, I thought about my options and decided it's too dangerous for me to be a ninja. I mean, with all the people I might someday kill, I don't want to stain my hands. Dustin said, but I thought you already prepared yourself for that since you had to kill already. Tenten said, I know, but a mother shouldn't pick up a child with bloody hands, should she? Dustin's eyes got wide and asked, Mother. Tenten, you're not pregnant, are you? Tenten said, no, of course not, but you see, if I marry Naruto there are certain responsibilities I will have to fulfill and I won't have time to be a ninja since I'm going to be too busy popping out kids to revive his clan, and you told me that I shouldn't put things off until later or they won't get done, so I'm going to go tomorrow and resign from being a ninja. After that I will go to the hospital and get some fertility drugs to help me get pregnant easier. That's why I am packing your things, Daddy. You have this huge queen-size bed and I have a small twin and I figure once I start the drugs Naruto and I can start having sex and I don't want my first time to be in some cheap motel, so since you got this big bed that's too big for you, I figure I could move in here and Naruto and I can have sex on that bed. Isn't that a great idea, Daddy? And I will make sure we are quiet, and I know it will hurt when he pops my cherry, so I. Dustin, who had turned pale listening to her, began to think and after a few seconds said, "You know, don't you?" Tenten turned and asked in a sweet voice, "Know what, Daddy? Know that my own father basically pimped me out as a whore without even caring what I want to do? Yeah, Eva and I had a long talk," as she glared at her father. Dustin sighed and said, "I just wanted to protect you and see you happy with the best life possible." Tenten frowned and said, "I know. I understand that, and that is why it hurts so much. Naruto was right about giving me a choice on what to do. He also believes in me and my dream and doesn't want to take that away from me. For that I am going to agree to go on a date with him and see what happens, but until I either break up with him or marry him, you're getting a color change on all your clothing as payback for what you tried to do." As Tenten held up a shirt and pair of pants Dustin knows he had in the washing machine before that used to be blue but now was hot pink. Dustin paled and said, "You wouldn't." Tenten smirked, laying the pink pants and shirt on the dresser and said, "Payback's a bitch, Daddy, and she's on the rag. By the way, I need you to go to the store for me before it closes today. I'm out of tampons," as she grabbed the box with his cloths and left. Dustin slumped back on the bed and thought, "I'm going to be the laughing stock of the entire village," as he looked around and realized the only cloths he had that Tenten had not took was the hot pink shirt and pants. As Tenten left, Eva said, "That was very vindictive. I like you, go girl," causing Tenten to giggle. While this was going on, in Wave Country, Naruto and Leela walked into the house where Tsunami lived and Naruto said, "I'm home." Tsunami came out of the kitchen and saw Leela and said, "Oh, hello," as she dried her hands off. Leela said, "Hello Tsunami-san, I'm Leela." Tsunami eyes got wide and said, "Now I recognize you. It's an honor to meet you, Mizukage-sama." Leela frowned and said, "Actually I am no longer the Mizukage. My father is dead and I had to take his title of Lord of Water Country, but you can just call me Leela. We are after all going to be sister of sorts." Tsunami smiled and said, "You're not what I was expecting and for that I am grateful. So what brings you here, if I may ask?" Leela said, "Well, I went to Konoha and met Naruto, informing him about my father, and after some discussion with him, if it is all right with you, I would like to go ahead and move to Wave Country. Water Country is nice and all, but it has a lot of painful reminders of my late father and brother." Tsunami said, "I understand. I often have reminders of my late husband also. However, I also have a lot of new memories with Naruto-kun as well," with a smile. Naruto said, "I know this is unexpected, Tsunami, but I was wondering if Leela could stay here with us. I know how precious this home is to you since your parents built it and is the only home Inari has ever known. The future living arrangements for our family is something we all haven't had a chance to discuss yet." Tsunami said, "It's alright, Naruto. We have plenty of room. Mom wanted this place to be an inn originally, so we have at least 15 rooms that are basically empty or used for storage, and you're right, this home is very precious to me, and if Leela doesn't mind living here, then we could just make this the future Namika's clan house, Leela, me, and you." Leela blinked and Naruto winced as he heard Tsunami say that, and Leela asked, "What about the other two ladies?" Tsunami blinked and asked, "What other two ladies? I can understand you not knowing about the girl from Kumo, but who is the other girl?" as she looked at Naruto and Leela, who looked at Naruto. Naruto saw both women looking at him and said, "Damn it, I was hoping till later to discuss this." Both women asked at the same time, "Discuss what?" Naruto sat down and said, "Karui, the Raikage daughter, was not thrilled by the ideal of an arranged marriage, so she has evoked a certain law Lightning Country has. I don't know what the law is, but the alliance with Kumo and Lightning Country are still in effect and we will still be merging together as planned, but depending on what the outcome of the law she used is will decide if I have to marry her or not. I learned about it right before I left for Konoha, which is why I hadn't told you yet." Leela nods and asked, "What about the other girl?" Naruto rubbed his eyes and said, "It's complicated. If you both can trust me until the Chunin exams are over in Konoha in a little over a month, I can explain it then, since I will know how to explain it. It's sort of an arranged marriage, but also sort of not. It's hard to explain it right now, and because of certain outside influences, it's been decided that the girl and I will go on a few dates to get to know each other. If after those couple of dates there is no chemistry between us, then the marriage is cancelled and nothing to worry about, as all parties involved will be satisfied. If however there is chemistry, then the agreement will be honored. It's not something I was planning to happen. Tsunami asked, what's her name and what's she like from what you know? Naruto thought a moment and said, her name is Tenten and she's unique. She's a genin and the same age as me. Her dream is to show the world that women can be just as strong as men and that she is a true kunoichi. She's been given the nickname Weapon Mistress of Konoha as she has around 10,000 weapons on her at all times, making both women wide-eyed. Leela gave a low whistle and Naruto said, she has 100% accuracy with long-range weapons also. Her dad is a blacksmith who has agreed to move his family shop to Wave if Tenten does marry me. That's about all I know about her right now. Tsunami asked, what is her personality like? Surely you know that. Naruto said, I know she's one of the smarter people in Konoha. That's all I can say since that's all I know so far. Leela said, sounds like someone I could really enjoy talking to. So is there anything else you have yet to tell us? I mean, we won't get to see you for over a month. Naruto thought and said, nope, that is all I can think of, with a smile as he rubbed the back of his head. Leela narrowed her eyes and looked at Tsunami, who also did, and Tsunami asked, are you sure, Naruto? Naruto thought a moment and said, I'm nervous about the exam. With the threat of war in Konoha, I know I'm going to be in danger, and I am also nervous about meeting the ones who I went to the academy with, since I think they're going to be in the exam also. Tsunami said, that's understandable, I guess. I wish you didn't have to do this exam though. Naruto said, I need to try and talk to Gaara. I am sure I can help him with his demon problem, and if I do, then he could become a really good friend or ally. Leela said, where is this Inari you were telling me about, Naruto? Tsunami said, oh, Inari, he's with his grandpa on a trip to a village 2 days away from here in the Fire Country. It's some supplies for the hospital. Naruto nods and said, you know. I don't have to leave for a few hours. How about, since we got the place all alone, you both let me try some of those massage lessons I was reading about? Leela looked at Tsunami, who said, that might not be that bad of an idea. My back and feet are hurting me a little today from so much work. Naruto said, then in that case let's go to our room, Tsunami, and I can give you both one at the same time. As a second Naruto appeared in a puff of smoke, and Naruto said, Kichibunshin, the best jutsu ever. Leela blushed, remembering the last time Naruto used a Kichibunshin on her, and one Naruto each lead a woman to the bedroom, and after helping them remove their clothing to their bras and panties and having both lay on their stomachs, one Naruto got on the back of their legs and beginning on their lower back began to work the flesh, loosening the muscles, making both women moan in pleasure until long after both fell asleep. After Naruto quit, he sat there for a while watching both women sleep peacefully and walked over and lightly kissed each before he left, locking the door on the way out of the house. When he made it outside, he took one last look at the house sadly, and he heard Eva say, you don't have to do this and no one will think badly of you. Naruto thought, I will think badly of me. I have a chance to stop this war before it ever starts and save everyone by killing Orochimaru if he shows up for Sasuke. Eva remained silent as Naruto took to the air and began to fly away. The next day in Konoha, after sneaking into the village and renting a motel room under a shapeshift to look like Tazuna, Naruto walked into the wolf claw and sweat dropped as he saw Dustin standing there in a pink shirt and a pair of pink pants, and he had a sign on the wall that said real men wear pink. Naruto snickered and said, you pissed Tenten off, didn't you? Dustin glared at him and said, shut up. Naruto blinked and Dustin sighed and said, you will find out later. What do you need? Naruto shrugged and he said, I need some supplies. Dustin said, alright, what do you need? Naruto said, 3,000 kunais, 3,000 shurikens, 1,000 exploding tags, blood and soldier pills, antidotes to poisons, several bottles of sealing ink and 30 blank scrolls. Dustin frowned and said, what do you need that for, kid? Sounds like you're planning on going to war. Naruto looked around and said, I'm entering the Chunin exams alone myself with permission from the Hokage. There's someone I'm needing to talk to that's in the exams, and I won't be able to talk to them outside the exams, but I may have to fight before I get to them or before they will listen. Dustin said, alright, give me a few minutes, as he went into the back and came back 10 minutes later with a single scroll and said, everything is sealed in this. That will be $35,000. Naruto nods and paid him, and Dustin asked, where do you get all the money from? Naruto said, well, don't tell anyone, but when I gave the people of Wave all of Gato companies and money, well, it wasn't all of it. I kept his account that he ran all his black market business through and withdrew all the money out of it. I figure there are a lot of underworld figures looking for that money, and I created a new identity to get that money, so if anyone looks for it they will run into a dead end. Dustin nods and said, well, good luck, kid, and keep an eye out for Tenten and her team. Naruto said, I will, as he left. A little bit later, Naruto was walking out of the ramen stand after he talked with Ayami and her father and was about to go get ready when someone bumped into him. Naruto looked at the person who bumped into him and said, hello Konohamaru, how are you today? Konohamaru blinked and said, you called me my name, in shock. Naruto said, well, it is your name, right? You don't want me to call you honorable grandson, do you? Konohamaru said quickly, no, please no. Who are you? Naruto smiled and said, the man who will make your greatest dream come true, as he laughed evilly. At 1 p.m. Naruto walked into the academy ignoring the looks he was getting from a few other people who were walking in, and he soon made it to the second floor, and Naruto saw Tenten about to be hit by one of the genin when Naruto threw a kunai with an exploding tag on it at their feet, causing the genin to jump back, and everyone looked at Naruto as he walked through the crowd grabbing the kunai with the tag on it and said, it was a dud. By the way, not every woman keeps her panties in the top drawer, as he kept on walking ignoring everyone's look. The genin snickered and said, what are you doing here, Naruto? Naruto stopped and said, do you have any idea how boring it is to be a feudal lord? Between paperwork, politics and people wanting to kiss my ass, I just want to blow some shit up. I paid a couple of cages to let me enter the Chunin exams so I could kick some ass for a few days. What's a couple of Chunin doing picking on some genin, looking back very bored, causing everyone to go wide-eyed as they say the two genin go up in smoke and reveal themselves to be Chunin. Kotetsu said, do you have any idea how boring guard duty is? We decided if we are going to get punished with guard duty, why not guard the Chunin exams and see how many teams we can trick into not taking the exams? And which idiot would actually try to fight to get into this room? The girl here put a good act, but her and her entire team noticed the genjutsu and was playing along till you showed up. Well, good luck, as he and the other Chunin left in a swirl of leaves. Tenten growled and said, what the hell was that with the kunai, and tagged Naruto. Naruto pulled out a book and began to read and said, you say something. Tenten growled and Lee eyes got wide and said, you are my new eternal rival. Naruto said, sorry bushy brows, I'm usually late because I often get lost on the road of life. I always get lost just south of the forest. Maybe I can find some nice girl in these exams who will give me directions, as he wiggled his eyebrows, causing several people to blush and a few giggle. Tenten turned red and Naruto began to walk away, and a voice said, wait. Naruto stopped and said, yes Hyuga, not looking back. Neji said, you're the one who Hiyashi-sama spoke about, aren't you? Making both his teammates look at him and then back at Naruto. Naruto shrugged and said, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, it doesn't really matter. But if you try and take revenge for your father by hurting your cousin like I think you're planning to, if you get the chance, then your eyes will go to heaven and your balls will go to hell, as he went up in a puff of smoke, shocking everyone there. Neji frowned and Tenten asked, what were you and him talking about, Neji? Neji said, nothing, let's go. In a cold voice as he began to walk away with Lee and Tenten following. In the corner of the room a person said, the dobe's changed, don't you agree? Another voice said, I agree Sasuke. Naruto really has changed, it was like someone else was in his body. But Naruto also very good at acting, so he could be just acting. We should go. The third member said, so that's Naruto, he's not what I was expecting. Sasuke said, let's go Sakura, Haku. As he walked from the corner, the three were standing in and followed after the group. When Naruto walked into room 301, he saw several people glaring at him, and he saw Team 8 and 10, and both teams were wide-eyed, but Naruto then saw the Suna team and began to walk over to them, and they narrowed their eyes as they saw him approach, and he sat on the desk right across from them and said, hello, would you three happen to be the children of the Kazekage? Kankuro said, what's it to you? In a disrespectful voice. Naruto said, your mother was named Karura, right? Making all three wide-eyed a moment. Temari narrowed her eyes and said, maybe, why? Naruto pulled out a scroll and said, forgive me for my rudeness. My name's Naruto Namikaze, Lord of Wave Country, at your service. causing all three siblings to go wide-eyed. Temari said, if you're really the Lord of Wave Country, then why are you here in the Chunin exams? Naruto said, in 3 years I plan to host the Chunin exams in Wave Country, and after talking with the Reikage, Hokage, and Mizukage, all three have agreed to let me enter the exams here in Konoha to get an idea on how to host them properly. That is the major reason I am here, but I do have a few other things to do while in the exams. You see, the reason I asked was your mother named Karura, a citizen from my country, has reason to believe that he is related to you distantly. He asked me to meet with you and ask you, Temari-san, to see if you could break the blood seal on a scroll that he sealed. If you can, then he would be willing to tell you all the information on your mother's bloodline that you should be activating soon if it is the same woman. The scroll is blank besides the blood seal, since the information he has he doesn't want to spread unless it is to his actual family. Kankuro said, Mom had a bloodline. I never knew that. Temari asked, who is this person you spoke of? Naruto said, until I see if you can open this scroll or not I can't tell you, but I can give you a little info if that will pique your interest as to why this person is interested in finding out if your mother is the same person he hopes she is. Temari said, very well. What is this info? As she eyed Naruto and the scroll he had pulled out. Naruto turned his head and saw Team 7 walk in, and his eyes got wide and thought, Haku, what are you doing here and why do you have Zabuza sword? Temari said, hey, are you there? Catching Naruto's attention. Naruto said, yeah, sorry about that, I just was not expecting to see another sword of the 7 swordsmen so soon. Now where was I? Oh yes, I remember. A woman named Karura was originally one of 3 members of a team from the now destroyed Whirlpool village who escaped during the Bloodline Civil War about 2 years before you were born, Temari-san. Temari asked, how do you know when I was born? Eyeing Naruto suspiciously. Naruto said, because the Wind Lord was willing to send a copy of the marriage certificate for the Kazekage and your mother, as well as birth certificates on all 3 of you, when the Lord of Lightning Country asked for them when I asked him to. It was with this information I am actually fairly sure that you will be able to open this scroll, but we can get back to that. You see, the 3 members of that squad from Whirlpool came here to Konoha hoping to escape, and for a little over a year all 3 stayed here working as freelance ninjas since they didn't want to join. The 3 members went on a mission and were ambushed by some missing nins and were separated. 2 of the members made it back to Konoha needing medical attention, and Karura disappeared and was presumed MIA. I currently believe that Karura might have went to Suna for medical attention, where she met the Kazekage, and the rest is history. The only way for sure to know is if you can open this scroll. Kankuro said, here, let me open it. As he reached for the scroll, and Naruto pulled the scroll back and said, I can't. I was specifically requested to have Temari test it. I will explain why if she can open it. A voice said, hey Naruto, come over here and join us. And Naruto rolled his eyes and looked back and saw all the rookie 9 minus him standing together, and he said, hello to you also, Kiba. Now be a good dog and play dead, and I will give you a dog biscuit later. As he looked back at Temari, who was looking at the scroll. Kiba growled and said, who the hell does he think he is talking to me like that? Talking to Akamaru. As he started to walk over to Naruto and drew back his fist and quickly jerked away as a kunai cut his cheek and stuck in the roof, and he said, what the hell? Trying to figure out how the kunai was thrown. Naruto looked over his shoulder and said in a neutral voice, don't attack me like that again. As he looked back at Temari, and Kiba frowned and walked back over to the other rookies. Temari said, very well. I will try this scroll, but I get to keep the scroll if I can open it. As she took the scroll and cut her finger and put some blood on the seal, and the seal glowed a moment and broke apart, and Temari said, well, it appears that we have another relative. Can you tell me who it is, Naruto-sama? Naruto said, sure, but let's wait until we can talk more private. You don't want someone to take revenge on you and your family by hearing about your relative now, do you? Temari said, alright, when we can talk private we will. Thank you for informing us of this, Naruto-sama. Naruto nods and walked over to where the rookie 9 were and saw Kabuto explaining the cards, and Naruto said, so you have info on everyone here? Making the group all look at him with Kiba glaring at him, and Kabuto pushed his glasses up and said, yes I do, Namiki-sama. I am surprised to see an A-rank ninja like yourself in these exams. Sasuke said, a rank? What do you mean? As he looked at Naruto. Kabuto said, according to the information I have, Naruto-sama here is listed as an A-rank ninja in the bingo book because he has killed S-rank missing nin Kisame Hoshigaki as well as around 200 mercenaries without a scratch. It also said Naruto-sama has the ability to fly and is the lord of Wave Country and in 3 years will be the lord of the unified Wave, Water and Lightning Country as well as the leader of the new hidden village Arashi. Naruto said, I'm impressed since most of that info is not actually known in the Fire Country yet. I'm not actually going to be the leader of Arashi. Here is something you can add though, I also handed the Rokudai Mizukage his ass about a month and a half ago, making everyone wide-eyed in shock and a few people scared. Ino asked, if all that's true then what are you doing here Naruto? Most are rank ninja or at least high chunin. Naruto said, and I'm not even an genin but you see, a feudal lord has the right to send a person to the exams to observe things and so I paid a few cages and here I am. Sasuke said, so what have you been up to since you left Dobe? I mean to become a feudal lord in 6 months at your age has to be some kind of record. Naruto waved his hand and said, it's nothing really big, got drunk, got laid, got in a fight, got laid, got in a fight, got laid, got drunk and got laid. Did I forget to mention I got laid? Making everyone sweat drop and Sakura said, pervert, as she hit him on the head only for Naruto to turn into a puddle of water. Naruto appeared with his arm around Sasuke's shoulder spooking them all. Kabuto frowned as he eyed Naruto and said, if I may ask, exactly how did you defeat Kisame? Naruto said, I'll tell you if Haku here will tell me where Zabuza is and why does he have Zabuza sword, looking at Haku. Haku who was wide-eyed asked, how do you know me? Naruto began one-hand signs and said, Uzumaki Kori style, ice mirror. As a mirror of ice formed in front of everyone using the water from the water clone shocking them all and Naruto said, I heard about you and your bloodline and thought we might be related and began looking for you and Zabuza. Since I couldn't find you I thought I would make you want to come to me so I got the hidden mist to change Zabuza ninja status from a missing nin to an exile nin so as long as he doesn't return to the land of water without permission hunter nins wouldn't hunt him and got the land of lightning to mark Zabuza as a flea on sight order and if Jiraiya keeps his deal then Konoha will as well soon so where is he? Haku said, in the hospital, Itachi sensei ran into us and offered us a chance to join Konoha. We agreed and been here for about 3 months. Zabuza-sama was injured on his last mission and asked me to use his blade to show he has adopted me. Are we related? In a questioning voice. Naruto said, unfortunately no. I got all the records of all the ice, water, and wind bloodlines from the land of water including birth, death, and marriage records. We're both from the Uzumaki Kori branch of the Whirlpool village but we're not related. It's complicated and if you're interested I can show you the records so you can see if your mother had any other relatives. I am willing to talk to you and offer to train you in some of my ice jutsu if you're willing to do the same. That way we both can find true strength protecting what is precious to us. Haku smiled and thought, he believes the same thing I do, and said, I would like that Naruto-kun. Naruto nods and said, strange, I was sure Ibiki would be here already to start the test, as he looked around. Kabuto said, you still didn't answer my question. Naruto looked at Kabuto and said, Kisame wasn't that hard to defeat. First I cut off his hand, then his arm and then his leg and then when he was on the ground I took his own sword and cut off his balls and let him bleed to death, making every guy in the room cover themselves and turn green. Just then there was a huge amount of smoke and several chunin and Ibiki appeared and Ibiki said, Namikaze Naruto, why the hell did you do it this time? Naruto snickered and said, I was not the one who painted the Hokage mountain this time. Ibiki said, how did you know the Hokage mountain was painted? Naruto said, simple, you see the Sandaime grandson Konohamaru, well he wanted to defeat his grandfather so I taught him my ultimate cage killer jutsu and then told him the best way to get close to his grandfather to use it was to paint the Hokage mountain and have Anbu drag him into to see him, making all the ninja in the room pale or go into shock. Ibiki said, you're having the Hokage grandson assassinate him. Why? As he sent a signal to an Anbu hidden in the room to warn the Hokage. Naruto said, there is more than one way to kill a cage, isn't that right Gigi? Looking at the window. The Sandaime who was standing at the window walked in with tissues up his nose and asked, why? Why did you have to teach him that jutsu? Naruto said, that was only stage 1, here is stage 2 harem jutsu. As suddenly the entire room was covered in smoke and when it cleared the room was full of hundreds of Tsunade all in bikinis. All the guys in the room blew back except Naruto who was disguised as one of the Tsunade and several girls also passed out and several others had twitches on their eyebrows. Naruto laughed as the clones began to be destroyed, and when the last one was left, all the girls who had been destroying the clones attacked the Tsunade, who was covered in smoke, and found Sasuke being beaten. As the men woke up, the Sandaime asked, "What happened?" A girl in the back of the room said, "You and every other guy in this room got defeated for being perverts, and then Sasuke got his ass handed to him in a female rage-induced moment, before she was covered in smoke, revealing Naruto." The Sandaime wiped his nose and said, "Ibiki, just get on with the test. I got to get Anbu to find and capture Konohamaru and get that damn camera," as he left in a swirl of leaves with Naruto snickering and several people shooting him glares. Ibiki said, "All right, settle down and draw a number to find your seat," as he unleashed some ki. As everyone finally sat down, Naruto found he was beside Gaara and he smirked. As Ibiki explained the rules, Naruto laid his head on the table and closed his eyes. 35 minutes later he woke up and getting the answers from Eva, who recorded Gaara writing. He filled out his test and waited. After another 10 minutes Ibiki said, "Pencils down. Now before I give the 10th question, there is some more rules you need to know. The first is you have to choose if you're going to take the 10th question. If you take it and get it wrong, you will be again and forever, but if you decide not to take it, then you and your teammate's score goes to 0, but you can take it again in 6 months. Now those of you who wish to take the last question remain seated, but if you want to wait until you're sure you can pass it, then leave now." As people began to get up and leave, Naruto waited and after 5 minutes thought, "Strange, Sakura didn't nearly quit this time." Ibiki waited a few more minutes and said, "For all of those left, you all pass." Before Ibiki could explain, the window burst open and Anko appeared and said, "No time to celebrate. I am your next proctor for the Chunin exams. Meet at the Chunin Stadium in 1 hour or forfeit your chance to proceed." Naruto's eyes got wide and thought, "What the hell's going on? We were supposed to go to the Forest of Death," as he got up and began heading with the others to the Chunin Stadium. As everyone who passed the first exam arrived at the Chunin Stadium, they noticed there was several ninja in the seats around them, and Anko appeared in a swirl of leaves and said, "All right, maggots. It's time to explain the second part of the exam. As you notice, there are several ninja in the seats above you. This is a team-based mission where you and your team must fight and capture an enemy ninja alive, and once you have the enemy ninja, will give you part of a code along with information on which other enemy ninja has the rest of the code. Once you find out this information, you are to keep it a secret amongst your team, and once everyone here has either defeated an enemy ninja or lost their match and were eliminated, you will then have to fight and capture the team that has the information your team needs. However, there is another catch. The team that you will have to challenge will also have another team to challenge themselves, and if they get both halves of the code, then that team proceeds and your team loses, so there is a time limit and a chance that even if you win, that your team wins against the enemy ninja, you will lose and you're going to fail. All matches will be held here in the stadium, and you are not allowed to leave the stadium until the end of this test, so you will have to conserve your food and water that you brought, because it could take anywhere from a few hours to an entire week to pass this test. Now, any questions?" Tenten raised her hand and Anko said, "Go ahead, girl." Tenten asked, "How do you determine who will get to challenge another team for the second part of the code?" Anko smiled and said, "Smart girl, that was the only question one of you could ask that I would not have failed your team instantly. The answer is simple. Your first match will be timed, and the faster your team catches the enemy ninja, the faster more likely you will be the first team to challenge another team. The fastest team goes first and the slowest team goes last. You also have a time limit to how long you have to catch the enemy ninja, and that is 3 hours. If you fail to capture the enemy ninja in that time, your team fails and the next match will begin after that time. Also, you may not realize it, but the enemy ninja will not be holding back much. They will fight back to resist capture, and if they will not fight to kill you but will fight to capture or make you unable to fight, so you're going to have to work as a team and be quick about it. Now before we begin, there is one last thing I need you all to do. With the use of possible deadly jutsu and badly thrown kunai being used, there is a chance that you might kill or die. In the event you kill the enemy ninja, you fail, and in the event that you kill an opposing team member in the second half of the exams, you fail. In the event that happens, 2 teams will lose because you can only pass as a full team, and we don't want any deaths if possible. But in the unlikely event that does happen, I need all of you to sign one of these waivers saying that if you do die, Konoha and its ninja can't be held responsible for it. As you and your team turn these forms in, you will be given a number. It will decide when you will get to fight your enemy ninja. And in case any of you are too dumb to realize it, the enemy ninja are the ones in the stands above us. Now any questions? Good, I see you all took my warning to heart. Now fill these out, as she threw the forms into the air and they scattered across the ground. Naruto looked at the grass ninja and smirked and thought, smart Gigi. I can tell by the look on Kabuto and the sound team they are not happy with this as they were prepared for the forest of death and that's not Orochimaru so he hasn't killed them and stolen their face yet. I guess you can teach an old monkey some new tricks. As he walked over and grabbed a form and cut his finger and signed his name to it in blood and walked over to where everyone else was getting in line and he turned his form in and thought, damn it, I got set up. I know I did, as he looked at the number 1. Anko smirked and said loudly for all to hear, well, looks like we all get to see the little diplomat fight first, how cute. Too bad the earlier you start the harder your enemy is going to be. I bet you're going to wish you had a team after for this match. Naruto snorts and walked over to the wall and waited till everyone got their number and some shot him looks and he waited till Anko said, alright maggots, everyone but team 1 leave the arena floor and take a seat up in the stands and remember killing is not allowed and you only have 3 hours and nobody will stop the match for anything unless the time is up or that you'll break the killing rule. ... Now we have Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze versus. A flock of crows flew into the arena and Anko said, Uchiha Itachi. Naruto thought, well shit. And Itachi said, hello Naruto-kun. Naruto said, hello Weasel. Kisame sends his regards. Anko said, begin. As she left in a swirl of leaves. Itachi said, I heard you killed him. I look forward to test myself against you. Naruto turned his body so only half of it could be seen and said, how about we make this match more interesting? A little bet shall we? Itachi narrowed his eyes and said, I'm listening, you have only 3 hours to capture me thought and time's already started. Naruto held up his hand and showing Kisame ring and said, a ring for a ring. I capture you in 3 hours then I get your ring, you defeat me or capture me in 3 hours I give you my ring. That way we can really go all out and I can see how I fare against the Sharingan since I plan to kill me and Uchiha very soon, making several people wide-eyed and a few narrow their eyes. Itachi said, I presume you mean Madara. Naruto said, yay, he's went out of his way to hurt me and my precious people. I'm going to return the favor, so what do you say, we got a deal? Itachi said, very well but you realize I won't hold back now. Naruto said, that's what I want. As a water balloon appeared in his hand making everyone sweat dropped as he threw it in the air. Itachi narrowed his eyes as Naruto left the arena in a swirl of water and his eyes got wide realizing the danger as he shushined out as well and when the water balloon hit the ground the entire arena floor was suddenly covered in 10 feet deep water shocking the hell out of everyone. All the ninja had the same thought, how the hell did he do that? Naruto appeared on the water and said, hidden mist no jutsu, as the water began to form mist around the arena concealing the arena floor. As the mist finished forming ki was felt by everyone in the arena as they heard, 8 points larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jacula, saccline artery, kidneys, heart. Now which one should I attack? Scaring the piss out of a few genin. Haku thought, he's imitating Zabuza. Itachi who was on the arena wall thought, silent killing, interesting. He uses the mist to reduce the use of my Sharingan. Everyone heard, water style, water dragon jutsu, while Naruto voice said, wind style, wind dragon jutsu. And a third Naruto voice said, Kori fusion style, double-headed dragon jutsu. As a wind dragon and a water dragon formed above the mist and merged together making a two-headed ice dragon and charged at the arena wall where Itachi was who shushined away and both dragons turned and they lightly grazed the wall and the wall was covered in ice as the dragon charged along the wall toward where Itachi appeared on the water as the mist cleared away and he flashed through hand signs and said, fire style, great fireball jutsu. As he breathed out a huge ball of fire at the two-headed dragon destroying one head while the other continued charging him when the water below him formed a water prison as a water clone came out of the water holding the water prison around the captured him as the ice dragon that survived the fire jutsu hit the water prison freezing it and Itachi inside exploded. Itachi appeared on the water and saw two Naruto standing on the water and one was flashing through hand signs and said, Uzumaki style, whirlpool no jutsu. As the water on the arena floor began to spin and the other Naruto finished hand signs and said, Uzumaki Kori style, ice mirror, as the mist that was floating in the air above the arena condensed together and formed a huge mirror of ice above the arena and it landed on the ice sheets that formed from the ice dragons. Itachi saw this as he jumped up onto the wall and said, I see, you have limited the area where we can fight and making this a battle of attrition, since if we fight on the water we will have to waste chakra, and if we fight on the walls then we will have to waste chakra to keep from going in the whirlpool below, and if I shushan above the ice mirror you formed then I will lose the match for leaving the arena. The Naruto who formed the ice mirror dissolved into water, and the other Naruto said, partially correct. If you look closely you will notice the ice from the dragons hitting the wall is spreading along the walls. As long as there is water nearby the ice will continue to spread until it runs out of water. It's one of my family most devastating jutsu called the clinging ice, but you got other things to worry about, Itachi. You see, the whirlpool I created is in a confined space, so the pressure from the whirlpool is increasing and your air supply is decreasing. Itachi, who was looking around the arena, said, Don't you mean our air supply? Naruto smirked and said, I have a way to stay underwater for days without surfacing for air, and it works in this situation as well. So what will you do now, Itachi? You can't use any more fire jutsu or it will eat at your air supply, and since Haku is on your Genin team you know that normal fire jutsu will not work on melting ice from a bloodline. In case you haven't noticed, but this isn't fresh water either, it's ocean water. Unless you're used to it you're going to have a harder time breathing in here as well from that, and let's see if I can't make it more uncomfortable for you. Hidden mist no jutsu, as the mist formed around Naruto covering the area again. Up in the stands everyone was shocked by what they were seeing. Sasuke thought, Dobe, how did you get so strong? Sakura thought, with the added water from the hidden mist jutsu the humidity in that arena is going to increase as well, making Itachi-sensei have to use up his reserves quickly as well as dehydrate him. The salt in the air will also harm him in that regard. Just then a scream of, Itachi, made several people jump and look around. Itachi, who was hiding in the mist, heard Sasuke scream his name and he looked over and saw Sasuke forming hand signs, and he grabbed his wrist and Itachi's eyes got wide as he saw a Chidori form and charge at him. Up in the stands Kakashi, who was sitting, went wide-eyed and thought, that's the Chidori, as he looked around the arena seeing several others who recognized that sound. Just then Itachi jumped out of the mist and Naruto appeared behind him and wrapped both arms around Itachi's body, pinning his arms around him, and they flew upwards until Naruto turned him upside down and began to spin, going back into the mist, and a loud splash was heard. In the crowd Lee gasped and thought, that's my guy, who was also wide-eyed, thought, it can't be. Back in the arena Itachi, who hit the water, dissolved in water, and Itachi's voice said, impressive Naruto that you would know that taijutsu style, but tell me, what was that I saw? It wasn't a genjutsu, but it wasn't real either. Naruto said, it was an illusion. Now how about we end this petty game? As the mist cleared away and the water in the arena floor was gone. Itachi looked around and said, I think it was foolish of you to get rid of your advantage like that. Naruto said, no, I got the desired results. You used half your chakra reserves doing that exploding shadow clone and the water clone replacements, as well as the 5 genjutsu you tried to use on me. You're down to about 1/4 of your total reserves, and it wouldn't be long before you would be using replacement and hiding to run the time out to get this battle to a draw, since we have the rings bet on me trapping you. I'll leave the air pressure and humidity here to sap your strength while we do this the way I really want to fight you. As he reached behind his back and a puff of smoke appeared, and he pulled Samehada off his back and slammed it into the ground, and he reached to his shoulder and then threw something that nobody could see, and another Naruto appeared who grabbed Samehada while Naruto pulled out a small metal tube and activated it, and several people tensed when they felt the energy coming off the red blade, recognizing that chakra. Naruto smirked and said, say hello to my Kyuubi saber, as he took a stance with the saber above his head pointing downward, while the other Naruto held the same Hada pointing behind him and held at his hip before being covered in smoke, and revealed himself as Kisame. Up in the stands 2 pairs of eyes widen and both thought, that's the basic stance for Dance of the Crescent Moon. Itachi frowned and said, very well. Let's see how well your kenjutsu skills are and how well you learned from that blade's former owner, as he eyed Samehada. Kisame said, Samehada not like other blades, it doesn't cut, it shaves, as he licked his lips. Itachi mentally shivered and thought, okay, Naruto might be crazier than me. That was too much like Kisame. Naruto charged forward toward Itachi, who pulled his sword of his back and went to block Naruto overhead slash when Naruto was replaced with Kisame at the last second, who swung Samehada at Itachi, who jumped back but got a shallow cut on his stomach. Itachi narrowed his Sharingan eyes as Kisame charged forward, and Itachi, suspecting a switch, replaced himself with a log when a shout of Demon Hunter no Jutsu was heard and 5 Naruto appeared around him and 2 turned into windmill shurikens and was thrown at Itachi, who replaced himself with a Kichibunshin of Naruto, killing 2 others with his sword when his sword was sliced in half as a Raisin Shuriken sliced through it. Itachi frowned as he looked at the now ruined sword and threw it at the last Kichibunshin, destroying it as he threw 2 kunai at the transformed shurikens, destroying them. Itachi said, "That was my favorite sword. What was that jutsu you destroyed it with?" Naruto said, "You've heard of the Rasengan, right? That is my improved version of it. It's still not complete though." Itachi nods and looked at Kisame, who was smirking, and then back at Naruto, who was standing there, and his eyes went wide as he felt a presence behind him, and before he had a chance to move he felt a chop to the neck and he fell to the ground as another Naruto stood there, and Naruto walked over, putting a kunai at Itachi's neck and said, "Oi Proctor, do I win?" Anko, who was gaping, said, "Yeah, time is 37 minutes. And thought, how the hell did that Raisin Shuriken attack turn into a clone?" Naruto thought, "Way to go, Eva, that worked great. When you created that Kichibunshin of mine who grabbed the remote ball instead of turning into a Kichibunshin like I had planned, that really fooled him, and the clone's timing was perfect with the shadow dance taijutsu we've been working on." Eva said, "I know, and while he was distracted with both of you he forgot to check his back and I used the water that had soaked into the ground to make a Mizubunshin." Itachi began to stir and a medic was over him, and he looked at Naruto, who had dismissed his clones and grabbed the remote ball, and same had her, and Naruto said, "You lost, so what's my code and where's the ring?" Itachi looked down as he pulled the ring off and handed it to Naruto and said, "Heaven is a heartbeat away is your code. You must get the second code from Kurenai or whoever defeats her." Naruto nods and took the ring and walked up to the seats, ignoring the shocked looks everyone gave him, and he sat down in his seat and passed out moments later, making everyone sweat drop. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.